good afternoon, good night. How you doing? This is MCM and you're listening to You're Probably Right. Today we are going to have a serious conversation. Well, maybe not a serious conversation, but there's going to be a serious talk happening here. Now, of course, I'm only doing the talking, but just stay tuned. I can't seem to help. It's like you cast a spell. I'll keep loving you. You don't love me too. But I won't cry it. I'll just sing a lullaby. You moved on already. I know I gotta stay strong. You said that you love me forever, but I guess that's gone. And I can't seem to hide all this pain that I feel inside. But that's okay, I'll just sing a lullaby. Listen, I can't seem to help. No. Oh, it's like you cast a spell. Can't believe we're through. You win and you lose. But I won't cry, I'll just sing a lullaby. Listen. You moved on already and I know I gotta stay strong. You said that you love me forever, but I guess that's gone. And I can't seem to hide all this pain that I feel inside. But that's okay, I'll sing a lullaby. Hey, what's up, y'all? It is I, MCM, and you are listening to You're Probably Right podcast. Thanks for stopping in. For my new time listeners, I'm really happy that you're here. For my regular listeners, of course, I appreciate you. And for those who maybe never will come by again, thanks for stopping by. Okay, so I got a really good show for you today. Yes, if you're wondering, my voice is still hoarse, but again, I said for me it's like a treat. It's like I'm another person. It's cool. Today's podcast episode is 196. Reading the Unspoken, the hidden meaning behind body language. And now I know I've probably talked about body language before in one of my other almost 200 episodes. Actually, you know what? More than 200 episodes, because I forgot I deleted like 5 of them. I'm sure they're still floating around somewhere. You know how it is. Once you put it in the internet, it just stays. But I've probably talked about body language before, and thought I'd do a little bit of that today. Meanwhile, I got a really amazing idea of another episode, so I'm wondering if I'm just gonna go and do 2. But anyhow, I'm happy for you being here. Remember, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Now, if you learn something, you learn something. It might be by accident, or you might learn how not to do things. Either way, if you learn something, I'm happy. If you're entertained, I'm happy. Remember, this is not a Christian podcast, but it is a podcast by a Christian. So if you don't like Christians, check out. But oh, you're still here? Cool. I just say that it's not like it's a preaching podcast or anything like that, and it's not like if I'm constantly in the Word. Of course, I have had ones in the past where I have literally taken down different scriptures to just to show exactly what I'm saying, that it's not just out of the top of my head when it comes to Christianity. I don't like to do that, but understand, as I said before, I am a Christian, so most of my beliefs on how things should go is from that So I just wanted that to be clear. All right. So here we go. Core body language insights. Okay, we're going to try to do our best. The best of the best. All right. Let's see. Blinking. Possibly deception or discomfort. When someone blinks excessively after speaking, it's often because they're uncomfortable, anxious, or even lying. Rebound blinking is a common stress response, and I can honestly tell you from someone that I know, they would blink a lot if they were angry. If I was having a conversation and let's just say they were saying like absolutely nothing, then I would know that they were upset. And it's kind of interesting. I was gonna say it's kind of funny, but it's not really that funny. But when somebody's just constantly blinking, you're paying attention. Like, I mean, some people just talk and they're not really looking at who they're talking to. Obviously I'll get into that a little bit later. I just realized that if you pay attention, there's usually, if somebody's upset, most people do the same thing when they're upset each time. And that definitely, I learned that. I was gonna say the hard way, but no, I learned that about her, that when she's upset, she blinks. And at least I mean, I was gonna say it's good to know ahead of time before you say something else dumb, but it's almost stressing though too. If I see rapid eye blinking, then I would just assume, oh, she's upset, and anyways, things would usually spiral out of that. How to use this in real life. If someone's blinking rate suddenly increases after making a statement that may not be, fully believable, or maybe they don't believe what they're saying, so think about that. Really, really pay attention. Be mindful. Excessive blinking can also indicate nervousness or overstimulation. So, of course, context matters, okay? And you got to remember that for everything that I'm going to say tonight or today is that the context matters. What's happening around, if somebody's blinking and you're outside with them and a lawnmower just passed through and maybe blades of grass just went in the person, or dust just went in the person's eye, you can't say, oh, she's blinking, she must be lying, she doesn't want that latte that she said or that she ordered. Context means either. Context is everything in these situations, of course. Yeah, I have a sore throat, guys. Actually, the funny thing is I don't have a sore throat. It's just I'm hoarse, and it's kind of strange because that never used to happen to me. Now every once in a while I get this, Marge Simpson going on. And also, excessive blinking doesn't automatically mean someone is lying, but it's a sense that their brain is under stress, for sure. If you notice someone doing this, consider their tone, body language, and the context of the conversation. Are they being asked something that's, under high pressure? Are they in an environment that might make them nervous? Maybe you make them nervous? You never know. And then there is fake smiles versus real smiles. Hopefully you can spot the genuine emotion. A real smile involves, everybody always says, when people smile with their eyes. I think it was in a song by Ed Sheeran or something like that. Maybe not. Maybe. Yeah, a real smile involves the eyes. Now, of course, if the person has sunglasses on, you might not be able to really tell. But usually they say, there's crow's feet out of the side of the outsides of their eyes. The eyes crinkle. While a fake smile, it's generally just the lips. It's pretty simple, right? How to use this in real life? If somebody's eyes don't light up while they smile, they may not actually be happy or engaged. It's kind of like when somebody passes you down a long hallway, maybe at school or at work or in the mall or whatever it is, and you catch each other's eyes, and sometimes the person will smile. And you can usually tell the difference. Like, there are some people that have that genuine smile. It's like you've known them for years when they smile, and you're just passing them down a hallway, down the street, or whatever it is. And then there's some people that just give you the, you know. This is especially useful in dating and networking, of course. People will often force a smile to be polite, but their body tells a different story. A fake smile is usually a social tool. It's not really genuine at all. It's not really a sign of deception either. You just walk by and somebody just gives you one of those, people use it in uncomfortable situations or when they feel obligated to be friendly, even though they don't really like you. If you want to know if someone is truly happy to see you, don't just look at their mouth. Watch their eyes and their forehead. Number 3. Yes, I said 2. No, I didn't say 2. I didn't say 1. I don't like to do that, guys. So you got to kind of pay attention to the points. I'm just saying. Mirroring behavior. They like you. And that could be in so many different ways. I'll never forget this one day. I'll never forget this day as long as I live. And this was after I learned about people mirroring behavior. So I was sitting at this meeting, and there was about 4 of us in the meeting. It was me and a coworker and this gentleman and his wife. And we had this conversation. We had to go over some stuff to try to help them out. So we had to let them know where everything stood at that particular time and the history of what we've done and what we're trying to do going forward to help them. And when I noticed my coworker was talking, I kind of was just kind of checking out the guy to see, like, what's he doing? How's his body language? Because I had learned this and it was really fresh. And I noticed he was doing exactly what I was doing. And then I didn't know. I was like, I'm wondering, was I doing it first or was he doing it first? I think we both had our arms crossed and we were laying back a little bit in the chair. And then I put my hands down and I sat up. Then he put his hands down and he sat up. I was like, wait a second. And I actually was paying attention at this exact moment. Then what did I do? I think I leaned back again and I crossed my legs, and he leaned back and crossed his legs. And that was pretty much it, because I had to get into the conversation. I wasn't paying attention to his actions, but it just kind of tripped me out. And he was really receptive to the things that I was saying. He was nodding, and at that point, I hadn't even started speaking yet when he was reflecting or mirroring my behaviors. So I thought it was really cool that it actually worked. I could tell this guy liked me, and I knew that whatever I was doing, he was really cool with it. And I knew that we were going to have a favorable meeting because of just that simple fact of what he was doing there. So mirroring behavior, generally they like you. And of course, if you're looking to talk to a man or a woman, if they're, you're talking to them and they're doing the same thing, you cross a leg, they cross a leg towards you. You lean in, they lean in a little bit. Or maybe they talk with their hands. You don't usually talk, but you know what I mean? Like, mirroring behavior, not only does it give signals to the person who is having their gestures mirrored, but it can also be a tool, which most people don't usually say it in this way, but it can also be a tool to show someone that you like them, right? So they do something, you do something. Obviously you got to do everything, has to flow in context, but you can actually put out messages that you like people just with your body language. Obviously, as we said previously, a smile, right? If you're smiling, don't just smile with your lips, smile with your eyes. Give them the soft, warm eyes and let them know. Not dodo, kind of, all doughy necessarily. But just smile. Use your whole body. Don't be stiff. Relax. Let your heart show through. And I think it would really work for somebody who especially doesn't really know or hasn't really thought about these things. If someone copies your gesture, speech patterns, or body positions, they feel comfortable with you and are subconsciously building rapport. If you lean forward and they do the same, that's a good sign. They're engaged. If they suddenly stop mirroring you, they may be disengaging or losing interest for whatever reason. So you might have to, check what you're doing. Mirroring happens naturally when we like someone, whether it's a friendship, relationship, or business setting. If you notice mirroring happening, it means the person is subconsciously aligning with your energy, as they say. A great sign that they are feeling a great connection. But who knows? Context is everything. Crossed arms equals usually defensive or closed off. Crossed arms oftenly indicate discomfort, disagreement, or a subconscious need to, self-protect, protect themselves. I was going to say something, I had to stop. If someone crosses their arms while you're talking, ask yourself, is the topic uncomfortable for them? Are they being defensive? Are you towering over them? Do you have that angry face? Like, have you been told before that you got that resting, face? Or do you have an angry look to you? Maybe you're pissed off and it's showing through. Some people, they wear their heart on their sleeve, and everything that is going on within them, they tend to show it on their bodies. To diffuse tension, maybe what you could do is you could open your own posture. People, it's the throat, guys. Sorry, man. Sorry, I'm like shouting in your ear. But to diffuse tension, subtly, slowly open your posture, your legs, not like wide open, but you know what I mean, like maybe shoulder if you're closed. People, unconsciously mirror body language, and they might relax if you help them relax. And that's why I'm saying you can use it as a tool, not only for you to spy what's happening, but you can also use it to initiate what happens. As I said, most people don't usually talk about it that way. People cross their arms for different reasons. They might be cold, and of course then, hey, do you want my coat? Should I turn up the heat? You know what I mean? Like, they're clues, like simple, right? They might be deep in thought and they have their arm crossed and maybe a finger on the side of their temple, just so they can focus on what you're saying even. Or they might be closing themselves off emotionally because maybe you said something or you sparked something in them from your interaction possibly, or just them reminiscing about something. If you notice this, look at their facial expressions and overall body posture before jumping to any conclusions, because as I said, could be cold, could be worried, could be scared, could be mad, breaking eye contact. Are they in discomfort or are they disinterested? If you're with somebody and they're rarely ever looking at you and they're always looking off, like There's some people who don't like to hold eye contact at all. There's some people that it's actually something in their culture, and then there's some people where it's just their personal culture. Well, they just do not look at people in their eye. But if you notice that they're staring at other people in the eye and not you, it might tell you something. If someone avoids eye contact or constantly looks away, they may be uninterested, uncomfortable, or trying to hide something, or they're just trying to get you to stop whatever it is you're doing. If someone consistently looks past you while you speak, they're disengaged. So figure out to do something to get them back engaged, or let them be. If they break eye contact downward, it can signal submissiveness or insecurity, and they're scared. That's something you said, or maybe they feel like some people, when they look down and you're talking to them, maybe you've embarrassed them, or they feel like you can literally see through them, so they're kind of protecting their neck by looking down. Breaking eye contact isn't always a sign of deception. It can also be a sign of shyness, respect, or simply thinking. If someone looks away often while speaking, try asking them, "Hey, am I losing you?" It can reset the conversation and, bring them back. You never know. Especially if you're saying something that's really important, you might want to do that. But if it's not that important, you can just say, "Hey, man, am I losing you? You look bored, man. You ready to go?" You can change the subject. We can walk and talk. You know what I mean? You never know what you need to do, right? Weak handshake. Low confidence or lack of engagement, or maybe your hands are dirty, or theirs. You never know. A firm handshake suggests confidence and presence, while a weak handshake can signal insecurity or disinterest. In professional settings, a firm but not overpowering Kawhi Leonard handshake sets the tone for respect. A weak handshake in social situations may indicate uncertainty or a lack of enthusiasm, or the person's just trying to be dainty. You never know. Handshakes are one of the first impressions people, form. People, and people make subconscious judgments based on your shake, for whatever reason, your handshake, I said. If you ever want to command more respect, work on having a strong, natural handshake. Don't crush the person's hand. You're not the Hulk. But also, don't leave it limp. Like they have to do all the work. Simple enough, right? Subtle flirting cues. This is number 7, by the way. Interest or attraction. Small touches of the hair. Leaning in slightly. Some people say a hair flick if they have long hair, right? And and it's not all bunned up. That kind of ruins it, eh? Yeah, the bunned up hair with the gray khakis and the white Air Force One. I think the days of those are probably done now. Maybe not. So as I said, small touches of their hair, leaning in slightly to you, or a prolonged eye contact are strong indicators of attraction. Now, some people give strong eye contact. Like I would be one of those people. When you're talking, I'm usually focused right in on you. That's just me. Whereas I know some other people, they talk, they look at you for 2 seconds, and then their eyes are up in the clouds. Or like what's his name, Lex Friedman. If you're being interviewed by Lex Friedman, or I guess vice versa, if you ever notice when he's really in thought, he tends to look up. into the sky somewhere where he gets most of it. I think he gets distracted by people's expressions like I do. So what he does, I guess he's comfortable with looking away. Now, I don't know how comfortable I am at actually looking away, but it's probably something I need to try because I still struggle with it when I'm not comfortable, or when there's too many people in a room and I'm the center of attention and everybody's hanging on every word that I'm saying. I tend to get thrown off because I'm reading all of the body language shooting back at me while I'm talking. Now, if someone fixes their hair or adjusts their appearance when they see you, it's a suspicious sign of attraction generally. Like, you walk in and somebody's pulling the shirt off their stomach, or making sure that stuff's not hanging low, or they're zipped up, or whatever it is. They're getting upright. They're showing you respect and possibly attraction, so they want to look their best for you. Leaning in during conversation means they feel comfortable and engaged with you. Flirting through body language is more like, I would say, subtle. It's more those small, subtle, grand, that are, I guess, that more than a grand gesture, I guess. Like, you have to see a big hair flip, or the person hardly, it's more subtle, but because most of the time people are doing things, but they don't want to draw attention to themselves. So you got to pay attention to the stuff that's happening that's not right out there. You know what I mean? If you want to know if someone's interested, watch their feet. Just could be a conversation, could be a teacher, could be a friend. If they've pointed towards you, they're engaged, and they want to, in most cases, want to know more. Now, of course, if it's somebody like me, I might do it because I don't want you to know that I want to leave. But in general, the average person, if their toes are, they're standing talking to you and they're pointed towards you, and it's a face-to-face conversation, and you're not riding a bus or driving in a car. But of course, okay, there's still another way you could still see if they're driving in a car. But then they're engaged. They're happy that, maybe not happy, but they're interested in whatever it is you're saying. If they're angled away, they might already be half out the door and want to go. If they're pointed down the hallway, they may have to go, and hey, they may just have to go to the washroom. You never know. Either way, they got to go. Open palms, honesty, and openness. When someone shows their palms while speaking, they are being transparent. They're being honest, or at least they're trying to show you they're honest. When somebody puts their hands up, please, there's no way that I would have done this, and they're flapping their hands to the the words. Generally they're honest, but I guess there are some people who will try to show that they're being honest, so they show you their palms. But that's what it is a sign of anyways. If they hide their hands, they may be concealing information, or feeling defensive. You never know. It's like they don't want to get their hands slapped, like back in the day. I don't know if you know anything about that with your parents. Yeah, when my mom, when I get in trouble, my mom would send me for the belt and say, hold out your hands, and palm of my hands, and it was whack, and then I tried to take it away and she put it back out. It's funny when I look back at it. Never did this to my kids, but yeah, that was her way. Hey, man. If someone's palms are facing upward, they are generally trustworthy and open to dialogue. Now, this is the average person, not the people who have already studied body language. And if you catch a whiff of it, you're gonna be hard pressed to try to trust anything that person does, to assume that it's just natural. If their hands are hidden under the table or in their pockets, they might be cold, or they might be holding back information or feeling uncertain. This is why politicians and salespeople are trained. Did you hear me? Trained, kind of like Trump. Listen, This is why politicians and salespeople are trained to use open hand gestures. We welcome you, everyone. Both hands out, hands really wide. It subconsciously makes them appear more trustworthy. If you ever want to persuade someone or gain trust, practice open, visible gestures. Nice, bright smile. Squint, really smile with your eyes. Open your hands. Let them know, hey, man, I'm really happy to see you. Talk to somebody like you talk to a 4-year-old. You ever notice how people turn bright? Hey, buddy. You know what I mean? You may be not going to say that to somebody your own age, but you understand what I'm saying. That, like, just imagine yourself talking to a little baby. Everything softens. You almost automatically, something in us makes us soften and come off more warm. Now, if you can somehow transplant that over to the adult world, you'll sell a lot of radios, or you'll I don't know, you'll sell a lot of cars, and you might be able to get to talk to the person you want to really talk to, or at least have a few interesting conversations at least. Feet positioning. This is number 9, y'all. Subconscious interest, or is it subconscious interest, or is it disinterested? Where someone points their feet and shows who or what they're most engaged with. So maybe they're totally engaged with going down the hallway, or, well, if their feet are pointed towards you, they're interested generally, or they're happy to stay for that time. If their feet are angled away, even if they're facing you, they might be distracted or ready to leave. This is one of the most overlooked body language signs, but it's one of the most telling. People can fake a smile or words, but their feet always point to where they want to go, even in sports. Learning about angles and how people turn their feet when they're ready to make a move in a certain direction can help an athlete. But of course, we're talking about in conversation and relationships, So remember, it's one of the most overlooked. And obviously, it's going to be the one that's most overlooked because the feet are on the ground. And if you're making eye contact, you might not see exactly how their feet are. But of course, you'll have time to glance and check them out. You know what I mean? And then there is, lastly, because that's all we're doing today, the superhero pose. Confidence boost. Standing with feet shoulder width apart, kind of like in sports. Hands on their hip, Superman. Chest slightly puffed out. Increases confidence and dominance in a social situation. So why some people will shout at you and put their hands, usually it's women, shout at you with your hands on their hips and their feet wide. Before a big conversation or meeting, take 2 minutes, they say, and do this power pose. I guess if you have to do something, it somehow loosens you up, opens you up, and it boosts confidence. They say. I've never done it, but this is what they say, right? If you're nervous, adjust your posture. Instead of shrinking into yourself, open up, widen out, stick out the chest, breathe deep, and relax. Studies show that power poses can increase testosterone and lower cortisol. Yeah, making you feel more confident. If you ever need a quick confidence boost, this is one of the easiest hacks to use. Go to the washroom. I'm not going to say breathe deep in, but you know what I mean? Find yourself a quiet space and try it. And that's about it. That's all I have to say today, y'all. Thank you for coming out. and listening. I have a lot of other different types of podcasts, guys. Um, this is just one I thought I should do. And if I really want to think about before I go, let's see. I know there's a whole bunch of other ones, but yeah, if you're sitting legs crossed towards you, talking to a person, their legs are crossed towards you, generally, or if you're doing that to somebody else, generally it shows there's interest. Obviously, if you get a tap on the arm, it might be interested again. If a person guides you in a direction with their hand, they're at the palm, like their palm of their hand, I'm gonna say on the small of your back, and they're kind of ushering you in a direction. They're taking control. They're protecting you. And again, if there's constant touching on the arms, shoulders, generally the person likes you at least. I'm not saying that they're romantically, and because there are some people who are just touchy-feely, or there are people who just talk with their hands. So you have to, in most cases, no. There are a few, the feet definitely, the smile 100%. But yeah, we're all different anyways. Anyhow, till next time. As I said, I have a lot of different types of episodes, lots of different shows. Please go check them out. If you could rate me on Apple, as I said, I only have a couple. Speaking of something, let me just say, if you do have a podcast, and or maybe not a podcast, or maybe you've just been doing something for a long while. Like, they say you should never just keep doing something the same way and expecting a different result, unless, of course, all that you're doing is a package. And at some point, which I would really strongly, at some point, you can make a plan to make a change. And if you're going to make a change, measure it if it's really drastic. But if you don't have to be drastic, maybe incrementally change whatever it is you're doing. But don't just sit there and be tortured in a situation where everything's not working right. You can affect the change that you'd like to see, especially in your own life. Anyhow, till next time, this is MCM signing off. This is You're Probably Right. Take care. Oh yeah, before I go, remember, if you have any questions you want to ask, or maybe you have a topic that you want me to talk about, you can email me at yprpodcast@gmail.com. Take care. Hey, come check out You're Probably Right podcast. Society is getting more unpredictable every day, but at the same time, predictable in its unpredictability. Say that 4 times real fast. Come with me as I attempt to find clarity in all the fog while staying way outside the box and kicking the box way down the road with my size 12 docs. I use the Bible, experience, education, fortune, misfortune, life's lessons, life's mistakes to sort through all the mess. I talk about news, God, God, self-help, sports, sickness, health, music, parenting, love, humbleness, hurt, pain, joy, and all the things that might make you say, I never thought of it that way. Hopefully, anyway. Also, I take a stab at answering tough and not so tough questions, and all the while understand that, listen, sometimes you end up in the hot seat and there's no thermostat. Well, that's how it is here. And because there's no topic, very few topics off the table, Torontonians will understand that Doug Ford reference there. Hopefully the podcast will be helpful and uplifting. And hey, maybe you'll find your own private Idaho here somewhere. Hope to see you soon.